Hi guys, so welcome back to this week's video. So today I'm going to have a very special guest, is my friend. And Shu, can you introduce yourself to everyone?
Hello, hi guys. My name is Shubham. I'm living in Hanoi since 2019 and I love it here. I feel very safe.
We have been hanging out for a very long time, more than 1 year or something, yeah. I don't have any problem understanding his accent because he's Indian, but a lot of my students and a lot of my friends told me that they always have a problem understanding Indian accent when they speak English, you know. Even when I was teaching the Polish students online on Zoom, and then one of them, she told me that she worked with Indian clients and she had a really hard time understanding the accent. And I think it's common because, you know, they have, can I say strong accent?
Yeah, it depends. Basically, India is a big country. And basically, you travel 200 kilometers away, you will find new people. New appearance, new clothing, new food, new language. We have so many dialects. So
Yeah.
it's a bit of a problem for me too if I go to South India.
Okay.
So it will be a problem for me also if I want to, you know, have a conversation in English.
So north or south, which part of India has stronger accent?
I think South
South?
India has a stronger accent.
Yeah. You're
And-
from the north, right?
Yeah, I'm from the north.
New Delhi?
Yes, the
Okay.
capital.
Yeah. So he doesn't have a very, very strong accent, but some people, like he said, from the south of India, have a very strong accent. So when you listen to them speaking, especially when they speak really fast, you're like, I don't know what he's talking about. And then with the head motion, you know, like. Sorry, I'm not making fun of
Yeah,
you, but that's really funny. Okay, so anyway, today we are going to play a game. Okay, so he will say some sentences in English with his own accent, and then after that, I will give you guys about 2 seconds to guess what he said. Okay, and then after that, I will repeat whatever he has said. Okay, so this particular activity, maybe like this game, would help you listen to the Indian accent better. So that's what this video is all about. Okay, so the sentence number 1. Okay.
Would you like to go to swimming at the pool? Would you like to go to swimming at the pool? Would you like to go to swimming at the pool?
Okay, so your turn. You try to guess what he just said. Okay. So it's, would you like to go swimming at the pool?
Yeah.
Would you like to go swimming at the
At the
pool?
pool,
Okay. Now 2.
Number 2. I'll be back in a while. I'll be back in a while. I'll be back in a while.
Okay, you try to guess. Okay. 1, 2, second. Okay, that is, I'll be back in a while.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a while. So, you know, Indians have this thing when they say the w sound, sometimes they say it like the v sound.
It gets mixed.
Yeah. So they kind of mix those two sounds. So he just said like, I'll be back in a while, right?
Yeah, I'll be back in a while.
Yeah, there you go. So I'll be back in a while. So it's not while, it's while.
While,
I will be
yeah.
back in a while. Okay.
It's when we speak fast, so it just mixed in. Gets mixed.
Okay. The sentence number 3.
He went to the store last week. He went to the store last week. He went to the store last week.
There you go. Now you're doing good. Okay. So sometimes, not all the time. Okay. So he said, I went to the store last week. So we have 2 words that have w sound, like went and then week. But not all the time. You know, like sometimes they mixed the w with the v. Okay, but not all the time. So in this case, he did not mix them up. So he went to the store last week.
Last week.
Okay. Next one.
You were absent in the last class, right? You were absent in the last class, right? You were absent in the last class, right?
Okay, yeah. So you guys get it? Alright, so what he said was, you were absent from the last class, right? You were absent from the last class, right? So I feel like when the Indians speak, they tend to link the words together, like, you know, like really, really hard. For example, I say, you were absent, but he said, you were absent, you were absent. So they link the word and right? You were absent from the last class, right? Right? Like, okay, but they say like, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Right. but they say like
can
right.
sound like right, like if we speak very fast.
Very fast, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it just comes, and it's not for everyone. It's like,
For some people? Or?
yeah, for some people. I mean, in India, yesterday only I met one Indian, and he has a really good accent. Not Indian at all. He's an Indian, born and raised in Calcutta, West Bengal. That's East India.
Oh.
And he's a Punjabi like me.
Oh, interesting.
I met him yesterday only. In India, we have this thing, like we try to, let's say if I go to UK
Yeah.
for a month, I will come back with a UK accent. I will try to copy it and be cool.
Yeah, you should copy the Vietnamese accent.
I do, it's fun.
Yeah.
I do literally, it's really fun.
Yeah,
it's
really
amazing.
fun, yeah. When it comes to accents, it's really fun.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, it's no. Wait for me. Come back. Wait for me.
No, not wait for me. Wait me.
Wait me.
Wait me.
Yeah. Wait me.
Not even wait for me.
Him want this. It's not like he wants this. Him want this.
Him want this.
Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah.
He don't want that. He don't.
But it's not a problem for me because like I can easily understand. It's the communication. I mean, we are no Shakespeare.
No. I mean, I'm not making fun of the accent. I'm just pointing out and then make people and help people understand more, because if they're not exposed to the different accents a lot, they might find it really difficult. Yeah. Okay, so shall we go to the next one?
Yeah. I need 22 tents for my picnic. I need 22 tents for my picnic. I need 22 tents for my picnic.
Okay, so you guys guess? Alright, so what he said was, I need 22 tents for my picnic. So you see, if you notice that Indians have this, when you say the t sound, I don't know how to do it, but if I hear it, I can recognize that Indian accent, Okay, so next one?
Yeah. There's a pile of work that I need to do. There's a pile of work that I need to do. There's a pile of work that I need to do.
Okay, you guys try to guess?
There's a pile of work that I need to do.
Okay, so there is a pile of work that I need to do. That pile of work that I need to do. Okay, the thing I want to point out over here is that the way they link the word together. Okay, so like I said, over there they have the R sound, and over here they do the O sound really hard. Okay, so a pile of work. Let's say a pile of work.
A pile of work.
Yeah, pile of work. So they link and of pile of work, And then he said like work is it sounded like work, right? A little bit.
Walk.
Not too obvious, but you said like work. A pile of work.
Pile of work.
Pile of work, yeah. So I say a pile of work. So I don't link, but Indians tend to link like a lot with the R and the L. Like, I think that's their favorite thing, to link the word together. Okay, so yeah, that's good. Next one.
There is a grocery store adjacent to my building.
What?
There is a grocery store adjacent to my building. There is a grocery store adjacent to my building.
Okay, try to guess, huh? I give you 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So, what he said was, there is a grocery store adjacent to my building. When he said it, I started laughing, because the word adjacent, it's not very common. It means next to. Like adjacent to my building, it means next to my building. So the other thing about Indians is that they tend to use the word that I don't think we use that very often, They have their own Indian English vocabulary, So it's not very common. You don't really see them a lot in everyday conversation if you learn English, but they have their own vocabulary, which is like a lot. So and it's very interesting.
Indian English is more influenced by the Britishers, because they rule us.
Yeah, but Indian English, they tend to follow the British English, and then, like I said, they have their own kind of vocabulary, like adjacent. Like, what the heck is that? It's next to. Okay, next one.
Okay, one more thing. I will shift to Ho Chi Minh soon. I will shift to Ho Chi Minh soon. I will shift to Ho Chi Minh soon.
Shift.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will shift to Ho Chi Minh soon. Okay, shift, like I said, when it comes to vocabulary, they use very, like unfamiliar words like shift. Shift, you know, shift, right? But it means, in this case, it means move. I will move to America soon, but in India they say shift.
When are you shifting?
When are you shifting? Yeah. Russell Peters made fun of that.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, I love the guy. Yeah. What's that? Like shifting.
Yeah.
It means move or moving. Move.
Yeah.
Move, shifting. Yeah. Okay. Last one, huh?
And there is one word, like I recently heard it in an Indian TV series like YouTube, and I wanted to talk about it. So there is a word which you call it, it's divorce. In Vietnam you call it divorce, or anywhere. In India many people, like, they will call it as divorce.
It sounds like diverse, you know?
Yeah, divorce.
Yeah, divorce.
It's so basically because DI is there, the word, the letter DI,
yeah.
we tend to say it like
die.
DI. You know, like divergent. We don't call it divergent.
Oh.
Or vitamin, but in India we call it vitamin. Vitamin A, vitamin B.
You just said vitamin.
No, I'm talking about here or US, they call it vitamin, but in India we call it vitamin.
Okay.
And there is the word,
yeah, I call it vitamin.
aluminium. We call it aluminium, and
Aluminium.
but in America they call it aluminum. Aluminum, something similar, but they don't say it aluminium.
Okay. So, I mean, you made your point. Like, you guys tend to say like I.
Yeah.
Like die. So they say divorce, not divorce. Divorce, okay? And then a very obvious point I want to make is that you just said vitamin.
Yeah, vitamin.
So he just said vitamin. It's vitamin. So it's supposed to be v, but he said w. So you know, sometimes they mix the w with the v and the v with the w, and they're not even aware of that, you know? Like, good job, bro. Vitamin. Yeah. Okay, so there's some words and some different ways of pronunciation and the way they pronounce the word, and then, you know, they use some different vocabulary and then different ways of pronouncing the words. So I hope that after this video you can understand a little bit more of Indian English accent. You know, they do have strong accent. It's like we have our own accent, you know. But you know, like, the accent is something that you're born with. Some people can change the accent, you know, but some people can't. So I think instead of, you know, like complaining that it's really difficult to understand, I think you should learn something and start listening to more Indian English.
One thing is that I want to say, it's okay if you don't understand this. I mean, even I don't understand many times when I talk to people. It's okay if you don't understand, but saying yes that you understand and you don't is not good. You can ask many times. You can ask them about your
to write it down or to spell it. Yeah.
But I mean, they will do it. They will not get hurt. Like, you know, our accent is a problem. They will not. You can ask them as many times as you want, and I think it's not that difficult.
Yeah. That's nice. That's a really good point. Yeah.
It's better to ask again rather than having a loss in business.
Okay, I'm not gonna make fun of you anymore, but I think that's good for today. Thank you, bro.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next week. Okay, bye-bye. Take care.
Ngồi đấy hả? Đấy đâu? Chị muốn lấy cái background này mà. Em cho chính diện được không?
Sorry, what did you
Seven.
Sir, do you want anything? Would you like anything, sir?